NHL free agent frenzy 2022 continues with several huge signings, re-signings, all kinds of movement. We're going to recap a bunch of the details coming up next. So welcome back to another video here at Top Shelf Hockey. As I mentioned, we've got some dedicated videos on the channel for a few of the bigger signings. We have some big ones we're going to talk about here today too, but we are going to consolidate some of these together. Right? It's impossible to do a video for every single one. So here's some of what we know here so far. If there's a signing I haven't talked about, I will get to it after in another video, so stay tuned. We know that the Edmonton Oilers have already signed Jack Campbell today to a 5-year, $5 million per year contract. Now they've brought back as well Brett Kulak, a solid defenseman who fit in well after being acquired at the deadline. He gets a 4-year extension at $2.75 million. So that's pretty good quality for what he brings to the Oilers. I thought he was a good stabilizing type of defenseman back there for Edmonton. We've got word that the Avalanche are bringing back a few members of their Stanley Cup winning team, one of which wasn't really expected to return, but they have signed Josh Manson. He gets a 4-year deal at $4.5 million. They also bring back Darren Helm, same deal as Cogliano, 1 year at $1.25 million. I gotta wonder with Manson returning, if we might see another defenseman trade it, whether it be maybe Curtis McDermott. There's probably no spot for him there anymore. I do wonder if they might consider a Samuel Girard trade too. We'll have to wait and see. They don't necessarily have to, but there is some stuff there that they could do with Manson being a full-timer moving forward for the next 4 years. The Sabres have made a bunch of signings. They've brought in a couple of goalies. They get Malcolm Subban. Of course, Subban returns on a 1-year but a 2-way contract at $850 for the NHL level. He's likely going to be the starter or one of them. We're working with Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen and Rochester would be my guess. They've also signed Eric Comrie as well. So Comrie likely will partner with Craig Anderson at the NHL level. They bring in a former defenseman from the Leafs and Coyotes, Ilya Labushkin. He gets a 2-year deal, $275. So there's a good, rugged, solid right shot D for Buffalo, who already has a lot of young D there. So he should be a good fit. And they're bringing back Victor Olofsson as well. No big surprise there. He gets a 2-year extension at $4.75. So again, some smaller moves by the Sabres, but ones that should work out. The Vancouver Canucks have made a good splash here so far. They've signed former Maple Leaf Ilya Mikeyev to a 4-year contract at $4.75 million. Mikeyev will be an excellent fit in Vancouver. Excellent penalty killer. He's really fast, dangerous shorthanded, can play in your top 6. He can play in your third line. Versatile forward up and down. I've seen him play a lot. And to me, this is a great addition for Vancouver. They've also made a good addition to solidify their fourth line, signing veteran Curtis Lazar to a 3-year contract as well at only $1 million per season. He was kind of squeezed out due to cap out of Boston, former Ottawa Senator as well. He's really evolved his game to being a bottom 6 grinder, good on face-off, penalty kill, and he will also be a good welcome addition there in Vancouver. That's another really good signing. The Maple Leafs have made several moves. They've solidified their goaltending, so people can stop criticizing the Matt Murray trade so much. They're bringing in Ilya Samsonov as a free agent to work with Murray. This will solidify things a lot. I really like Samsonov's game, and I think there's a lot of potential there long term. This could work out that Samsonov actually might be the goalie of the future for them, and maybe Murray only sticks around for a short term. We'll see. But he gets 1 year, a 1.8, a chance to come in and reprove himself. But he looked phenomenal when he was younger. Had a bit of a bad stretch with Washington. But I do wonder if that could be a good fit long term. That's a great signing by the Leafs. They bring in Adam Gaudette on a 1-year, $750 contract. A player who could be a waiver wire player later on, depending on how their bottom 6 works out. But he's shown flashes. He's just been not consistent. Had a good tournament at World Championships. Nicholas Aube-Kubel comes over from the Stanley Cup champions as well to the Leafs on a 1-year, $1 million contract as well. Didn't really have a permanent spot there in Colorado, but great speed, good bottom 6 guy. So he should be a good potential fit there as well. Chicago made a couple signings. They've signed Andreas Athanasiou and Max Domi to matching deals. They each get 1 year, $3 million. To me, that's going to be trade deadline acquisitions. Probably not ideally where they want to end up, but it gets them a spot where they can play a big role and hopefully showcase themselves to get to a contender by the deadline, and then they can reevaluate next year. The St. Louis Blues have offered a big extension and signed Robert Thomas. 8 years, $8.125 million. That's a huge contract signing, but he's worth it. He's been a great player for the Blues, really evolved the past couple of years. To me, that pretty much signals that Vladimir Tarasenko won't come back. They won't be able to afford him past the final year of his deal, but a great signing there for Robert Thomas. They're bringing in Thomas Greiss, formerly of Detroit and the New York Islanders, a few other teams he's played for. Kind of been a journeyman goaltender, but he gets a 1-year deal, a $1.25 million. So he will likely be your backup goaltender to Jordan Binnington now that Ville Husso has moved on, and there's expected that Charlie Lindgren will likely move on as well. The New Jersey Devils have signed defenseman Brendan Smith to a 2-year deal at $1.1 million. A good third pair guy, give you some physicality. The Lightning are bringing Ian Cole over from Carolina, a 1-year deal at $3 million, so pretty good signing there. Detroit has signed Andrew Copp. That's huge. The Michigan native goes home to the Red Wings. Steve Yzerman makes a good push to improve his club. $5.625 million over 5 years. Copp has been one of the more underrated players in the NHL the last number of years. Can play center, he can play wing, he can play PK, he can play power play. He can really do a lot of everything. He doesn't really do a lot of things exceptionally well, but he does everything good. Like, he's a real good player. Should be a great fit there. They've also signed their first-round pick, Marco Kasper, to his ELC, and they brought in defenseman Olli Mata, formerly of LA, on a 1-year deal at $2.25 million. The New York Rangers made a big splash, signing Vincent Trochek to a long-term deal, 7 years at $5.625. Of course, Andrew Copp was expected to be in the contention for that. He moves on to Detroit. That tells us Ryan Strome won't be back either. So Trochek will be the new number 2 center on a long-term deal. It's a good fit for New York, a hard-nosed center, great on face-offs, can produce offensively. I like that fit a lot for the Rangers. Jaro Halak also signed as the backup goalie to Igor Shesterkin, a 1-year deal at $1.55 million. That's Halak's 7th team in his NHL career. The Coyotes have signed a couple of depth defensemen, Troy Stetcher and Josh Brown. Both get 1-year deals with the Coyotes. They're probably doing the same thing as the guys in Chicago, hoping to showcase themselves and get moved by the deadline. The Florida Panthers are signing the newly bought out former Senator Colin White as well on a 1-year contract. $1.2 million. Of course, they've already lost Claude Giroux. It's rumored that Ben Sherrod's leaving to likely head to Detroit as well. So we'll see what else they do to kind of reshape things now that a couple of their deadline acquisitions will no longer be in the mix. So let me know your thoughts on all these signings. There's more to come. Lots of names still out there, and we'll discuss further. If you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe and stick around. It's going to be a crazy day full of news, and you don't want to miss anything. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you next time.